happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
Hey everybody, and welcome to TBFV, and welcome to the first movie review for the channel. I'm Michael, and today's movie we're talking about Black Panther. Now, this is going to be a spoiler review, so we'll have some spoilers from the movie. We didn't have enough time to do a non-spoilers review, but in the future, for some of the movies, we'll have a non-spoiler and spoiler review. If not, we'll just go straight into spoilers. So like I said, this will have some spoilers from the movie, so if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. If you don't really care and you still like to watch spoilers and ruin it for people, then sure, go ahead, keep watching. But, you shouldn't do that because, that's messed up. So, yeah, here, check it out. Black Panther was directed by Ryan Coogler, and one of the things that I loved about the movie was the culture of Wakanda and the expanding the powers of vibranium. In the beginning of the movie, they explain how a meteor of vibranium strikes Wakanda, and throughout time, Wakanda becomes the most advanced city in the world. But as the world became more dangerous, the people of Wakanda decided to keep it hidden so that nobody will know about their technology. It makes it pretty cool because vibranium is not just a metal, but a resource that creates a city, vehicles, clothes, maybe even more. Probably creates the bowls that they eat in, imagine if you had a bowl of vibranium and you have, mac and cheese in it. That'd be pretty cool. But I also love seeing Wakanda's culture and the people, the clothes, the colors, and the rituals that they do. When T'Challa goes back to Wakanda, he has to have a fighting ceremony where if you want to become king, you have to challenge the current king. Now, T'Challa became the king because his dad died in Civil War, but they had to make it official when he went back to Wakanda. As the fight goes on, people are singing, chanting, and dancing, and it's really nice, full way to see a culture come together. Another thing I loved about this movie was the cast. This movie has one of the best casts in the MCU and movies in general. This cast is stacked with great actors, and there wasn't one person who was misplaced or misused. Everyone played their role and everyone had a purpose. Now, obviously Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa and Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger are both great. But a surprise character that I really enjoyed was Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. She brought humor into the movie, and her chemistry with T'Challa was fun to see. They had a real older brother, little sister relationship when they would joke around with each other, but when it was time for T'Challa to be the Black Panther, she was his wingman by making all of his tech and finding ways to make missions easier for T'Challa.
I waited my entire life for this. The world's gonna start over.
Another character that I had a really fun time seeing was Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger. To me, I think Killmonger is one of the best villains in the MCU. Now, hear me out. I didn't say he was the best. Even though he's in this for one movie, I still think he did a pretty good job. He's probably definitely in the top 5 as movie villains in the MCU. But you can debate on that. You can feel his emotions in the movie, and even though he dies at the end, you kind of wanted him to live because of what he's been through. He finds his dad in Jabu, played by Sterling Kane Brown, who is amazing in this movie, is dead, and he sees that he had panther marks in his chest, and he sees that the Black Panther killed him. Black Panther at the time was T'Chaka, who is T'Challa's dad, the dad who died in Civil War, and T'Chaka and N'Jabu are brothers, which makes Killmonger and T'Challa cousins. Now that would be an awkward Thanksgiving, dinner. Hey man, your father killed my father, I want to take the throne. Well, my bad bro, that wasn't me, I didn't even know you were around. But anyway, he grows up wanting revenge and trains himself, and he marks himself on his body, and those marks represent his kills. He works with Claw so he can get to Wakanda, but he ends up killing him instead. But he uses his body and brings it to Wakanda so he can confront the king and tell him about how he should be king, and the Black Panther killed his father and left him there with no family. As a kid, he heard that Wakanda is a beautiful place and the people there are family, but him being alone from the people affected him and grew up with struggle while everyone in Wakanda were living like royalty. When he fights T'Challa and throws him over the waterfall, he feels pain, and you can feel his pain. You see his drive to kill T'Challa and become king. You know that he will not stop until he wins and avenges his father's death. He sees that Wakanda isn't helping the struggling people around the world, so he fights to become king, but he wants Wakanda to be on top of the world and have everyone fear Wakanda because of the resources that they have. His motive in a way is good because they need to help people, but he wants to make it where Wakanda is the most dominant country and the weapons can be used for war and violence.
Let's have some fun. The revolution will be live.
Now every villain needs a hero, and it's the man of the hour, Chadwick Boseman, as Black Panther. Chadwick Boseman brings it again, just like when he was introduced in Captain America Civil War. As T'Challa, he wants to make sure that he's a good king, and when he takes the purple flower, which is the source of his Black Panther powers, he sees the former Black Panthers and kings of Wakanda, and he sees his dad and talks to him about how he wasn't ready to not have him in his life, but he wants to make sure that he was a good king like he was. But as the movie goes on, he finds out that his father killed his brother and left the child behind, and he didn't bring him back to Wakanda. And basically, he told him when he went back the second time that this was all his fault, and Killmonger is the way he is because you killed his dad and left him there all alone. And now he has to go out there and fix it and save his people. Also, T'Challa is like some of the other kings, and he wanted to make sure that his people were safe from the outside world. But after confronting Killmonger and having talks with his people, he decided to use Wakanda's resources to help around the world. And the first thing that he did was buy the Killmonger's building where he lived at when he was a kid. And he also bought 2 other buildings because he's a freaking baller and he can just buy anything he wants. But he did that so he can help the people around the area. His army is also strong, fierce women led by Okoye, played by Danny Gira, and she's just a badass warrior who can just do basically anything with spears and awesome moves. Also, Nakia, played by Oscar winner Lupita Nyong'o, as she is a character who wants to help the people outside of Wakanda, but she can also kick some ass and defend herself. I would say this is definitely in the top 10 in the Marvel movies in the MCU. I would say probably around the 6 to 8 range, but that's not a bad thing. I really enjoyed this movie, and from a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it an 8.5. Visually, it was amazing to watch, the costume design was great, and the tech being used was fun. The cast was great, and the soundtrack and score fits the film, as it doesn't feel like you put a bunch of hit songs into a movie to make it cool. Also, both end credit scenes were pretty cool, as we see T'Challa talk to the nation as he offers support to the world, and one guy basically saying, how can Wakanda, a third world country, help society? You guys can't do anything. And then T'Challa's face at the end was like, bruh, you'll see. And the other one was just, Bucky waking up and people calling him the White Wolf and him having no arm and him kind of being confused. He was like, okay, I guess, we can just keep going now when you got to give me a new arm. So that's going to be really cool to see in Avengers Infinity War. Thanks for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed the clip. It was just a few thoughts about the movie that I wanted to say about Black Panther. And yeah, this is the first one done, and hopefully we'll have a lot more. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you follow us on all social media platforms so you can get your latest movie, TV, video games, and sports updates. I'm Michael from TBFV, and until next time, see ya!